This is Julien, the French winemaking guy who makes wine videos here on YouTube, yes, wine videos. And we are looking at everything that you should know about Champagne House Taittinger, the top 5 things that you should absolutely know about Taittinger, and how to pronounce it correctly with the French pronunciation, one of the very most famous of all French champagne houses. So let's get started with chapter 1. What is Taittinger, the house in a few words? Taittinger is one of the most famous of all champagne houses and all champagne makers in France and in the world. One of those iconic champagne brands alongside the Moet Chandon, Veuve Clicquot, Bollinger and a few others. Taittinger was founded in 1734, some 285 years ago, and that's under the reign of Louis XV before the French Revolution, so a little while ago. The company is based in Reims, the capital city of the Champagne wine region, and is now headed to Pierre-Emmanuel Taittinger, or by Pierre-Emmanuel Taittinger, born 1953, a member of the consultative committee of the Banque de France, the biggest national bank of France. I personally visited Taittinger headquarters in Reims a few years ago and met Vitalie Taittinger for an interview. She is part of the family and the marketing and communication director, and a very friendly, very nice and approachable women. Had a wonderful time, a lovely time at Taittinger over there. Thank you again, Vitalie, for hosting me over there. Taittinger is particularly known for its Chardonnay dominant champagnes, especially thanks to its Blanc de Blanc 100% Chardonnay prestige cuvée called Comte de Champagne. Chapter 2. Taittinger, a brief but eventful history. The house, founded in 1734, was bought by the Taittinger family, Pierre Taittinger in this instance, in 1932, when he bought the Château de la Marqueterie, a famous property in Champagne. His son François took the reins of the company in 1945 and built up the cellars and the vineyards, establishing Taittinger as one of the staple champagne houses we know today. In 2005, the company was sold to US investment group Starwood. The focus on short-term profitability then threatened the long-standing tradition of the house and of the family. But a year later, Pierre-Emmanuel Taittinger, the current manager, and the family, backed up by banks, French banks, managed to buy back the company at the relief of the whole family and many people in France. Chapter 3. The vineyards, Taittinger vineyards and wines. Taittinger owns about 290 hectares of vineyards, so that's around 710 acres, of which about half is planted to Pinot Noir and the other half is mainly composed of Chardonnay with a little bit of Pinot Meunier. Taittinger-owned estate vineyards contribute 50% of the house sourcing for grapes. The other half of the grapes coming from contract growers that most of them have a historical relationship with the house. Now for the wines. Taittinger house style is about acidic tension and finesse, always with dry and delicate flavors. Taittinger's non-vintage cuvée, their most common champagne wine, is called the Brut Réserve, which is a blend from 40% Chardonnay with Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier making up the remainder. The house also makes a non-vintage rosé called Prestige Rosé, a blend of 50-50 Chardonnay Pinot Noir, only from Grand Cru vineyards, that is called Prélude Grand Cru. Series of vintage champagnes, of course, or Brut Millésimé, that they make when the growing conditions are favorable and excellent to make a vintage champagne. Their Folie de la Marqueterie champagne wine special cuvée is a tribute to their Château de la Marqueterie property. It's made from grapes grown around the Folies vineyard that overlooks the chateau itself, some of the wines are vinified in oak casks. But of course, the flagship cuvée of Taittinger is the Comte de Champagne, first made in the 1952 vintage. This 100% Chardonnay wine is made from grapes mostly sourced from the Grand Cru vineyards of the Côte des Blancs, the best area in Champagne for making Chardonnay wine. They use just a little bit of oak malt for adding complexity and delicate nutty characters rather than imparting strong oaky notes to the wines. Taittinger's flagship is considered as one of the most consistent Blanc de Blanc wine from the region, so 100% Chardonnay wine from the entire Champagne region. Taittinger also makes a Comte de Champagne rosé. I've reviewed both those wines, they're delicious. Chapter 4. Taittinger in the world. Taittinger invested in making fine sparkling wine around the world, including in the south of the Napa Valley with their Domaine Carneros, of which I made a video review of the wines that you can watch following the link in the description. More recently, Taittinger has established a vineyard in the English region of Kent, the best region for making English sparkling wines, this estate being called St. Evremont. And finally, with our chapter 5, how do you go about pronouncing Taittinger? Well, obviously you will hear with the English or American sounding pronunciation some people saying Taittinger, right? But if you do want to pronounce it the real French way, the way the family would pronounce it, you have to say Taittinger. Taittinger. Do not pronounce the R at the end all that much, it's rather silent, just say Taittinger. Taittinger. Taittinger, not quite that much. Just say Taittinger. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about Taittinger wines and watch those video reviews of the Comte de Champagne, the white wine and the rosé, make sure to follow and consider subscribe if you like to learn more about champagne wine and wine world in general. I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine. Au revoir. Bye-bye. So this morning I'm meeting with literally Taittinger for an interview, for a bit of a tasting. Going to try all the champagnes, visit the cellars. As you can see, I'm just in front of the winery here. Seems like a big building, so I can't wait to visit this and meet Vitaly. Just want to give you a bit of an overview of how the entry of the Taittinger house looks like. So you've got nice